Hello everyone and welcome to our new Oneflow Academy webinar. We hope you had a great weekend and we hope that you are as excited as we are to go through these new cool features. You might remember me and my colleague Felicia from our previous webinars.
Yes, hello everyone. So today we have a fully packed presentation for you. We'll be going through a lot of new exciting features as well as having our head of product and our head of integrations. We'll be discussing their philosophy and how we structure our work, just to give you a bit more insight on what's going on.
Yeah, so this is how the agenda looks today, and we'll be going through all of these and demoing them, but we won't be able to demo fields on PDF as it's not presentable yet. And Felicia will start off with demoing Inline Comments.
Before I start, I would just like to let you know that we will have a Q&A at the end. So if you would have any questions, just leave them in the chat and we will get back to you on those. But now let's start with the inline comments. So this is a new exciting feature that will allow you to leave comments directly in the document. Let me show you how it works. So here you have what used to be the chat tab, but is now the collaborations tab. So what we have done is that we have divided this into the chat that works like it used to work and the comments. And with the comments, you can now highlight any of your text and you can add a comment to that text. So let's say, can we change this? And then I click here to post the comment. So now this comment has been posted, but since this document is still a draft, so it has not been sent to the counterparty yet, this comment will only be visible to my colleague in this document. So all comments that you leave in the draft will be internal. And you can also see that here on the internal tag. But let me show you what it looks like for my colleague. So I change to her view and refresh the page. And I go to comments. So me as the colleague will see the comment here, but of course the colleague has also received an email telling them that there is a new comment. So what I can do from here is that I click on the comment and I will be redirected to the comment in the document. And here I can choose to either reply to the comment or I can just mark it as resolved. So for now, let's mark this as resolved. And now you can see that it disappeared from the comments tab, but of course you can still find them, you just have to filter on resolved comments instead. Let's go back to the sender view and refresh the page. So now if you would like to send this document, you need to make sure that you have no unresolved comments, because you cannot send a document that has unresolved comments. If I add a new comment here, just say comment. And let's post this. So now I have one unresolved comment. And if I try to send this, I will get this message telling me that I have one active comment that needs to be resolved. And if I click on show comments, it will redirect me to the comment. I can mark it as resolved from here. And now I can send the document. So I click on send, add my message template as usual, and then I send it. And now this is a pending contract instead. And of course I can still add my inline comments, but all comments that I add from now on will be public. So all participants in my document will be able to see comments from now on. But it still looks the same, like this. Comment, post. The difference is that this has no internal tag since it's a public comment. And with this new feature, we also have new settings. So let's go to the settings tab. And here you will now find the collaborations settings. So here I can choose if I would like to disable any of the collaboration options. So for example, I can disable the chat, but I still have the inline commenting enabled, or I can disable the inline commenting. But what you also have is the option to allow counterparties to resolve comments. So if I would disable this option, that means that my counterparties, they can still leave comments, but they cannot resolve any of the comments. So only we on the owner side will be able to resolve the comments. And another thing that might be good to know is that you cannot add any comments while editing a document. So if I would just add some text here, and I try to add a comment, I will get this message telling me that I need to save the changes before I add a comment. But of course here I can just click on Save Changes. So now all of my changes are saved and I can add my comment. So it's a great feature. It is very easy to use, but if you would have any questions, of course, just leave them in the chat. We love this feature and we know that a lot of you have been waiting for this feature, so we hope that you will love it too.
All right, let's talk about subadmin. So this is a feature that I know many of you have been wanting, and that is basically us extending the permission system in Oneflow. Previously, administrator has been a very all or nothing role, basically. So that you could have users as administrators, but you could not limit what they could do within the administrative settings. So they would have full access or nothing. Well, that's where subadmin comes in and provides a great helping hand to organize your users' roles better. So I thought I would actually take you through the creation of a subadmin role. Now, per standard, you have these 3 roles when creating a new account in Oneflow. And we will go ahead and create a new role. So as you can see, we have a new option here already, which is access areas. And this is what actually changes if we're creating an administrative role or a workspace role. So we're going to go ahead and choose account. We shall name this role team lead and confirm. Now, as you can see, this role has the same amount of permissions as administrator has, but per standard doesn't have any roles applied or permissions applied to it. So let's click on the role and then go to permissions. And here you can see that we have a whole new permission set that you can have fun with and play around with. And here you'll be able to set everything from the control that this role has over users, groups, and workspaces, if they can edit any workspace roles or assigned roles, if they can do it, view your billing details, manage your extensions, manage the tags, go through the audit log, or handle your data management options. And basically, to grant this role is to go to users, click on the actions button regarding the user, and then click on grant account access. And here we will be able to select what kind of administrative role they should have. And we hope that this will help you have a more organized structure within your Oneflow account.
Thank you, Elias. So the next thing we wanted to show you is maybe not a new cool feature in the app, but it's still important, and that is our new status page. So if you go to your profile and you click on Oneflow status, you will be redirected to our status page. So here you will be able to see if we have any kind of downtime or if anything is not working as it should. And you can see that for our application, for the API, the website, help center, and so on. And another thing that you will find here is the maintenance tab. So if we would have any kind of maintenance schedule, you would find that here. And to reach this page, you can go through your profile as I showed you, but you can also just go to status.oneflow.com.
Thank you, Felicia. Now, I am going to go through suggestions. And in the email we've sent out, we've been calling it redlining, but in the final launch, it will be called suggestions. And this is actually a very nifty little feature that will allow greater collaboration within your documents between all your users to ensure that all the details are correct. So say I am Claire Colette here in this contract, and I will be viewing it and making sure that it is correct. Well, I can see then, for example, that this contract is not regarding the London office. It should be instead regarding the Paris office. So what can I do now then? Well, as a demo user has been the one creating this contract, I will simply be able to suggest the changes to this person, just to ensure that this demo user is maintaining all the editorial and content changes in the document, and I am just there to confirm the signing. So I will actually mark the text that is wrong, and then you can see that we will get three options. So we have the inline comments, and then we have suggestions. So if I want to suggest a change and that it should say Paris instead, I simply click on suggest and then write the text here and then click on suggest to confirm it. Now what happens here is that the previous value gets marked over in red with a strike through, and we also get my suggested value here in green. Now, if demo user wants to see this and approve this, he will simply go into the view of the contract and he will see the same view that I have. And so what happens if I want to confirm this? I simply do this. I click on this. I see that Claire here has suggested this change. I can start a discussion regarding this change here, or I can approve or accept or reject it. Now, as I know this is about the Paris office, I will go ahead and accept it. And as easy as that, the correct value gets placed here. Now, if I would, for example, say that we should not have this line at all in the contract, I can simply suggest a delete. And I will have to say invite changes then. The same sort of dialog appears here, and I can accept it or reject it. Now, if I accept it, it simply goes missing. And that is a quick look at suggestions. We hope that it will be of great use for your collaborations within your documents.
Thank you for that, Elias. So we are super excited about this next feature. We know that it's been highly requested by a lot of you, and that is our internal approver workflow. So this feature has not been released yet. We're still doing some internal testing, and that also means that there might be some small changes from what I'm showing you now. But overall, this is what it will look like, and this is how it will work. So when you send a document for signing, you might want to send it to your colleagues for internal approval first, and that will very soon be possible. So what you do is that you click on Add Colleague, you select your colleague, and now you will have a new role to choose from, and that is internal approver. So I add my approver, and now you will see that the owner side has been divided into internal approvers and colleagues. And the counterparty will only be able to see the colleagues, so all internal approvers are invisible to them. And you can also see that this has number 1 here, and that is because you can have an approver order. So if I would add more colleagues to my internal approvers, I could give them number 2 and 3 and so on, and then the document would be sent for approval to number 1 first, and once they have approved, it would be sent to number 2 and so on. But let's leave it at 1 and add our counterparty. And now I can send this for approval. So I click on send for approval. I get this message telling me that the document will be sent to internal approvers first. But here I can also enable the option to automatically send this for signing to the counterparty as soon as it's been approved. And that is what we want, so we will enable this, select our message template, and then save and send for approval. So now this has been sent for approval. That means that Claire has gotten an email telling her that she has a document to approve. And if we change to her view and we go to documents, she will of course also see the document here. And it's super easy to see all of the documents that are waiting for approval because they have this new purple color. So I open this document, and of course I can make any changes or leave comments or everything that I want to do until I'm happy with the document. And once I am happy with the document, I will approve it. So I click on approve, and this message tells me that this will be sent for signing as soon as I approve this. And we are happy with that, so we click on approve, and now it's been sent to the counterparty for signing. So this feature is also very easy to use, but as I said, we are still doing internal testing, so if you would have any feedback or any questions, just leave them in the chat.
That looks amazing. That is actually all of our features that we could showcase today, but we also want you to know about Fields on PDF, which is an upcoming feature that will allow our users who primarily still work with PDFs to add a box or a section where either the owner or the counterparty can add text as if it was on the PDF. We think this will be a helpful tool to get the most out of your contracts, even if you haven't created them from scratch in Oneflow. Now, let's move on to our two guests this webinar, Pascal and Ankit.
Hello there everyone, Pascal here. I am the head of product here at Oneflow, and today I'll be answering a question of how do we prioritize different features and functionality in our product. So yeah, the other week Elias and Felicia came up to me and asked me if I could participate in this seminar by answering this question, and I'm happy to. So, how do we prioritize different features and functionality in Oneflow? It all starts with us looking at the product strategy that we have set for the product. So in order for us to kind of start prioritizing, what features to build, we need to understand in what direction do we want to take the product. So do we want to go here or do we want to go there? So once we know that, then we start to drill a little bit deeper down into insights and data. Because that is the kind of source of truth that we're looking at. So we want to back up our decisions based on data. So what different data can we look at in order to make decisions on what to prioritize? So I'll mention a couple of them, but one of them is, of course, what is our current users and customers saying? What kind of problems do they have currently with the product that we could potentially solve? We try to talk with a lot of different companies that is using Oneflow to understand, is there anything here that can support the direction that we're taking the product to? And is there any particular problems or friction points that we see talking on to current customers? Then we also look at different market data. So is there anything in particular that we can see from the various markets that we're currently in? Are the markets moving in a certain direction? Is there any trends that we can see that is also that we can use in order to understand more about the different problems? And then we also look at user behaviors. So I mean we're collecting a lot of data in the platform that gives us insights of how is the product being used. Is there any problems in particular that we can see? So we use that data to also understand where we need to go. So based on that, then we do a different analysis based on this kind of data that we have been gathering. And then we come up with a list of different problems to solve. So let's say that we can figure out a list of 5 to 10 different functionalities that we think would be worthy, or they would match the kind of current where are we going, but also what current problems do we have. Then we take this list of 5 to 10 different items, and then we start to trim it down by looking at, okay, but which one would provide the most value, which one would provide the least. And then we start playing this game with, how do we prioritize? Then we also take this list, we interview internally, sometimes we reach out externally, so we ask different customers that represents different segments that are interesting to us, especially depending on the strategy that we want to take. So yeah, that's a little bit of how we do prioritization. There's of course a lot more details and depth to kind of what we're doing. But that's kind of a basic rundown of what we do. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ankit Mittal. I'm the head of integrations here at Oneflow. I've been with Oneflow for more than 3 years now, focusing on enhancing and expanding our integrations portfolio. My role here involves overseeing the development of integrations with various platforms like CRM systems, ATS, no-code automation tools, productivity tools, among other softwares. Our goal with these integrations is to enhance the value that Oneflow provides to our customers by becoming part of their software ecosystem. Right now, we're really excited about several new initiatives that we're working on. First up is Slack integration. I think this integration is going to be a big plus for the teams who are utilizing Slack for collaboration. This integration is going to ensure that the users are not going to miss any important Oneflow related updates. They'll get it directly in their Slack. It's going to be a new addition to our integrations portfolio, so we're really excited about it. Next up is Power Automate. We are gearing up for releasing triggers in our Power Automate connectors, which means that users can initiate automations based on specific events in Oneflow. I think this functionality is going to open up a bunch of new use cases for our Power Automate users. And how can I forget Salesforce? We are going to provide a new update in Salesforce integration, which will provide flexibilities to our users to categorize their product data in Oneflow in a better way. They will be able to transfer their product related data from Salesforce into several product tables in Oneflow to structure the contract in a better way. This was a much requested functionality, and we are happy that we'll be releasing it soon for our customers who are waiting for it. Next up in the horizon is HubSpot integration. We are further enhancing our HubSpot integration. For our enterprise customers, we are adding the functionality or the possibility for automations by adding the support for HubSpot workflows, which means that there'll be a possibility of automating tasks along with using the native integration that Oneflow has with HubSpot. This is going to be very cool. So as you can see, there is a lot in pipeline, and we are excited to bring these updates to our users. I hope these updates are going to help our users to streamline and make their contract management process more efficient. Here's a fun fact about integrations at Oneflow. Did you know that about half of the contracts created through Oneflow are created using external applications which were integrated with? Isn't it cool? It shows how much our users rely on these integrations to make their contract management smoother and more connected to their daily tools. It's pretty cool to see how our integrations have become a core part of so many business operations. At Oneflow, we prioritize our features and update through product-driven development approach, which also guides our work on integrations. This means that we focus primarily on solving our customers' problem rather than pushing for solely a sales-driven approach. The decision on what to prioritize are made by the individual teams dedicated to the integrations. They base their decision heavily on understanding our customers' needs. And we also consider various factors, including how often a certain integration is being used, feedback from customer interviews, the overall business value this feature or this integration is going to bring, strategic inputs, so on and so forth. By keeping our product aligned with our customer needs, we ensure that we are not only growing, but we are also genuinely helping our users. Our teams at Oneflow is a bunch of enthusiastic individuals. We have got a mix of roles. Product managers, UI specialists, several full stack developers, all dedicated to working on our integrations. We have a special team that focuses solely on public APIs, making sure that the APIs meet the highest standards. Meanwhile, the other teams work on developing new integrations and enhancing the existing ones. Each person brings their unique skills to the table and make sure that we are not only diverse in our expertise but also incredibly passionate about making Oneflow better every day.
And that is all for this webinar. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We hope that you've learned a lot and are excited about these features. We'll go ahead and answer some of the questions in the chat starting now.